So right before I joined the coding program, I served in the Marine Corps for 4 years. After that, I worked at a loan servicing company for a compliance department, and then finished up college. My goal now that I'm done with the program is to get a position as a junior web developer, doing something front end or back end, anything that gets the opportunity to have some experience. If I had not went through this program, I think that I would probably be in the environment that I was before at this particular company, sort of in a stagnant environment with no foreseeable career trajectory, quite frankly. I absolutely think it helps a lot to come to class every day. The sort of interaction that you have with other students, being able to communicate technically, sort of approaching problems from different perspectives adds immeasurable value that I couldn't say highly enough about. It was a really great opportunity to work with other students during the project phase, just because for the majority of the coursework you are working individually. So to have that dynamic where you're working with other people, merging code, it adds a completely different dynamic that seems to be a little bit more simulative of the work environment. It was an awesome opportunity to work for a local company just because you got to communicate what the client wants and hopefully deliver based on their desires. And just get some real world experience with what it would be like to code for a client. I think the client absolutely liked the work that we produced, mainly because we were able to achieve some of the objectives that the client laid out. The learning that you receive through the core curriculum and then up until the point where you're working on the final project is a really great mesh. I mean, the experience that you get beforehand really prepares you for the project, where you really just feel like it's a further iteration of the curriculum you've already gone through, and it's now just a matter of implementing sort of with a little bit less of your hands held. VSTDA is without doubt what you might call the crucible or a rite of passage. It is probably the most challenging phase of the curriculum that you go through, just based off of the fact that there's a lot of components that are really new and sort of thrown at you all at once. So it's tough, but it's also, once it's done, a really good feeling because it's probably the place where you feel like you learn the most, and after that you have a confidence that you really didn't have before. Mob programming means to me the ability to really get some experience collaborating with other people. It's fun and fulfilling when you can do things on your own, but when you are working in a team environment, you really get to approach problems from different perspectives, and it makes you think about things really in a unique and different way that I think is really fun. Beyond learning the actual coding aspect of the program, I think more than anything else, learning how to problem solve was the biggest takeaway. You really get to have an opportunity to systematically approach a problem and be able to feel like any problems that you have afterwards are much easier to sort of get through. I think something that would probably separate me from the majority of applicants is probably just my background. I have a military background as well as a security clearance that I received in the military. So particular companies that I might be looking towards applying would be sort of in the defense industry, and I think based off of my background it would allow me to sort of fit into those companies in a way that most applicants might not be able to as readily.